Learning Unit 1, that is an overview of the curriculum.
Okay, so good morning once again. Welcome back to our topic. So we are going to continue our topic for today pertaining to the historical basis for the crafting of the Philippine curriculum. The educational system of the Philippines has a long and complicated history. The first comprehensive research conducted dealing with the supposed medium of language of teaching was accomplished by Andrew Gonzalez. Also discuss the educational system of the Philippines and its historical aspects, together with the interlocking conflicts and resulting problems of higher education in the Philippines. For your information, Brother Ando Gonzalez was the former DepEd Secretary. And based on the research that he conducted, he was trying to find out what could be the best medium talking about language now that shall be used so that learning can be fully acquired or effectively acquired by the students. So according to the research that he conducted, Filipino language is the medium of instruction in the country's educational system, as well as a proposed alternative ideological model of literacy which develops the critical thinking skills of Filipino students, build cognitive and affective domains, and values their local language experience and culture. So, if you are looking at the slide now, the term Filipino refers to the language before, but now the term Filipino will be referring to the people in the Philippines, Filipino. So this was a product actually of the research that he conducted, talking about what would be the best medium so that learning and teaching and learning could take place effectively and efficiently. Teacher will be able to deliver the lesson well, and at the same time, the learners will be able to effectively learn what the teacher is teaching them or sharing with them. So he tried to describe how the Philippine educational system look like or what it looks like. Talking about what will be the foundation of this curriculum and how will this curriculum be able to develop the critical thinking skills of the Filipino students so that the development will be holistic, talking about the development of the mind, the development of the emotions or feelings, talking about the affective part, and values. So nowadays, now values is very important. A lot of institutions now, even industries or business industries, are looking into the kind of values that the students are practicing, talking about character development. So there were also curriculum policies which was embodied in the 1987 Constitution of the Philippines that was found in Article 14. So this kind of article or part of the Constitution set forth by the DepEd or the Department of Education also in their different bulletins of information like bulletins like we have also in the COED wherein all the information are being displayed. Circulars, we're talking about letters of instructions or even DepEd orders, memoranda or memo, and information that actually set forth some policies and guidelines that all schools or basic education had to follow. Then orders as well and plans. So the legal mandate of the framing of our constitution or our curriculum rather is the Philippine Constitution of the Philippines. So there are some a few laws which was passed by the national legislation regarding the school curriculum. As we mentioned previously, Article 14 of our Philippine Constitution, especially in this part, Section 3, Paragraph 10, mandates the study of Philippine Constitution. The very reason why you have subject in your senior high school talking about good governance or politics and governance. In college, you're actually referring that to the study of Philippine Constitution as well. Another section of Article 14, Section 6, implements Filipino as the main language of instruction. So if you happen to remember just a while ago, Brother Andrew Gonzalez mentioned about Filipino as the language. That now it is already F Filipino to refer to the language that should be used as medium of instruction, no? According to that order. Added to that, Section 19, Paragraph 2 declares that all educational institutions throughout the country shall undertake regular sports activities in cooperation with athletic clubs and other sectors. So the questions that we have in mind, why do you need to take PE even if you are in college? Because you have started PE from the elementary years up to high school or even junior high school, and yet up to college you have these physical activities. That is a mandate, or that is a law, okay, mandated by Article 14, Section 19, Paragraph 2 of our Philippine Constitution. So there was also another law, Republic Act number 4723 or RA 4723, that ordered the teaching of music in schools. That's why we have Conservatory of Manila in UP, we have also in UST, we have also in Ateneo. That's honing and developing the musical intelligence of those who have rather the capacity or the ability to sing. Filipinos love music. I myself love music. Although music doesn't love me because I don't have a good voice. I can sing, but the voice is not appealing to the listeners. So the newly curriculum specific laws designate the following. One, lengthening of the school calendar. So formerly when you were in the elementary, 185 days lang. But nowadays, more than 200. To be exact, it's about 205 days per school. Oh, did you imagine that? You spend more than one half of your life in school dealing or playing with your classmates. Another, integration of concepts on human rights. That's why now our curriculum is enriched. We have an offering, IP 101, that is also pertaining to the indigenous people's rights. The human rights actually are embodied in the Philippine Constitution subject or in the politics and governance subject. That's Article 3 also of the Philippine Constitution, the Bill of the Human Rights. Because human rights shall always be protected, and the main and primary duty of the government is to protect and to serve the people. Okay, not only Filipino people, but all the people that lives or resided in the Philippines. Okay, taking care of the environment as well. That is why in COED, we also have the clean and green project activities. Dangerous drugs is also incorporated in the new mandated curriculum. That is why in social dimension or in the Gen Ed 2 or Gen Ed 1, I think, dangerous drugs are talking about drugs are being incorporated. That is to protect all individuals, especially students, no, with regards to the proliferation of drugs, or talking about drug trafficking. Then you also have computer education. No? In college, you even have this EdTech. And a lot of you are complaining because teachers would require you to download this and that. Well, that is but part and parcel of the subject. The subject is educational technology. So one of the activities of EdTech is to really download applications that can aid you or help you in your teaching career or in the preparation of lessons that you're going to share or you're going to show to the students later. We are all future teachers, so definitely, like now, we are in the new normal. Whether we like it or not, we need to adapt to the changes, no, of our instruction now. We are, under the new normal, and the new normal that we're talking about is the use of technology in teaching, and you as students, no, in learning. So, we have the higher education institutions referring to colleges and universities. So all these colleges and universities were established in the 17th and 18th centuries. So by Catholic orders. So the first, schools, Catholic schools actually, and the Protestant missionaries later, they compete with one another, talking about inviting or influencing parents and students to enroll in their different institutions or in these institutions. If you are Catholic, then parents would prefer Catholic. If you are Protestant, then Protestant family will go into a Protestant type of education. So talking about Catholicism, this is one of the ends or the aims or objectives of Spanish colonization in the Philippines. Remember the three G's, no? God, propagation of the Catholicism or Christianity. Another G is gold, that is for economic wealth, or talking about amassing a lot of wealth to enrich themselves. And another G for glory. Glory is prestige because the more wealthy a particular nation is, the more that he has power. So in that sense, we equate wealth with power. So the third is responsible for the higher educational institutions. As mentioned, it is a government organization which covers both public and private, as well as degree granting in all post-secondary educational institutions in the country. So other institutions that would fall under the supervision of the CHED also includes the graduate school, okay, that offers master's degree or doctoral degree. So colleges are classified as tertiary institutions that traditionally offer a handful of specialized courses. Likewise with NUST, if you have noticed, you are all education students and you are also encountering a lot of students here at the Sumacab campus, like architecture students, engineering students, no, including with the different types. Then also criminology, even IT, or even AD, no, all over the campuses or the university, and also from the different satellite or branches, no, of NEUST. So specialized courses in the sense that you have, a specialized, course or profession, no, that you are specializing of or mastering. So higher education institutions also are known to be as state universities and colleges. Talking about the SUCs and NEUST in the province of Nueva Ecija, together with CLSU, are examples of SUCs, state universities and colleges. NUST, for example, was known to be as Central Luzon Polytechnic College before, but it became a university because it underwent a series of accreditation. Then when the accreditation was actually passed and surpassed by COED and the different departments of NUST, they have been granted the accreditation level status like level 1, 2, 3, and 4, 4 being the highest level of accreditation in the college level. Co-ed, for example, is level 4 accredited, talking about BSIE, BTLED, and even AMBID now will be subjected to level 4. Level 3, I mean. Level 3 ang bid, and they are now subjecting to another program that should be supervised by the ARQUAT, or the team or quality assurance team, to ensure that the College of Education is capable really of handling this new curricular offerings like bid, major in early childhood or special education. You will find out that later. Okay, so SOCs are CHED supervised higher education institutions. Then we also have private higher education institutions. Then we also have community colleges. In Cabanatuan City, we have lots of community colleges. They offer actually vocational courses, and they are also financed by the government through TESDA, that is the Technical Education Skills and Development Authority. Okay, so they are categorized as genuine in its operation, and at least they have to offer 8 different degree programs. ACIs also must present at least 6 undergraduate courses, including a 4-year course in the fields of basic science / mathematics, liberal arts, and social sciences. So, what you are actually seeing or hearing are the different criteria or qualifications for a higher education institution to be allowed to operate with the government. Before they will be given government recognition, they have to pass all the necessary qualifications or standards. There must be a minimum of 3 other active and recognized professional courses resulting in government licensure examinations. Co-ed or education has a licensure examination. Before you'll be admitted in the government service, particularly in the public school, you need to pass the BLEPT now. That is the board licensure for examination for professional teachers. Before it was known to be as PBET, a professional board examination for teachers. Then from PBET, it changed it. It has a change in its nomenclature. It became the LAT. That is the licensure examination for teachers. And now, or it's operating actually about 4 or 5 years left. The board licensure examination for teachers. So this is one of the requirements, to assure that the college is offering quality education. There should be at least at par. Talking about at par, the performance ratings in the licensure examination shall be at par with the national standards. What I'm trying to say is, if the national passing percentage is 30%, the co-ed should be above or at par with the national passing percentage. So it should be at least 30.98 or 31 or higher. That is an assurance that the co-ed or the department or the college rather is really practicing or manifesting its quality education offered to the students. Then lastly, another requirement, they must have at least 2 graduate level courses leading to doctoral degrees. This is what I mentioned to you a while ago, talking about the graduate school. After your 4 years of studying in the college of education, you will graduate, then pass the licensure exam. Then after a year or 2 of teaching experience, you can proceed to master's degree. Then after finishing your master's degree, you can proceed to your doctoral degrees. So these are added criteria to the 7 areas requirements as ordered by the CHED itself. Comparing with the private universities, we also have local government universities and colleges. However, okay, they have less strict requirements. What are expected of them is only to operate at least 5 undergraduate programs. In contrast with what we mentioned a while ago, talking about SUCS, eight undergraduate programs, then two graduate level programs. So there is, a lesser qualification or requirements, no? For these LCUs or the local universities and colleges, actually these are financed by the local government. Like example, in Karanglan, we have an extension of NAUST, but it was a localized NAUST. Meaning to say, teachers receive their salary from the municipality of Karanglan. Or as the case may be, in Talavera, for example, or in Peñaranda, or in what else, in Palayan, no? Or in some other branches or satellite campuses of the university. Okay, so aside from the SUCs and the LCUs, all public universities, if you're talking about certain characteristics, they should be non-sectarian. When you're talking about non-sectarian, they should not use religion as basis of accepting students, no, or to be admitted in their college or universities. Okay, so local college and university as LCUs or the so-called state university and college as we mentioned a while ago. So who is responsible or what agency is responsible in the administration of this SUCs and that of LCUs? It's the national government. Okay, talking about SUCs, it's Congress. That's why the budget of a certain university depends on their leveling. We have leveling in the SUCs, level 1, 2, 3, 4. So the highest the level attained by a particular university, the bigger the budget will be allotted by the Philippine Congress. In Tagalog, the Philippine Congress is the Kongreso, no? That's composed of the House of the Senate and House of Representatives. While LCUs or local colleges and universities, they are governed by the local government units, as I mentioned already a while ago. So examples of this LCU is the Pamantasan ng Maynila or Lungsod ng Maynila, known also as the University of Manila. But we have now, a very well-known university, a locally funded university, talking about an LCU, is the University of Makati. Okay, definitely it's in Makati, not Manila. Everything is free. Even uniform, book allowance are provided by the local government unit. So to ensure that all these higher education institutions, particularly the public tertiary education, offered quality education, they have to subject themselves to accreditation. Like in COED, di ba? We have experienced last year. We are level 4 accredited, as I mentioned, level 3 ang BID. So if you the college will be able to maintain such status, then the budget is overflowing to the university. That would actually increase or actually develop the physical facilities or even the different resource units like different laboratories, no, of the college or of the university. So they have to subject to accreditation. So what are accrediting agencies of the SUCs or the LCUs? So we have here the AACO or the Accrediting Association of Chartered Colleges and Universities of the Philippines. Then we have also for the local colleges or LCUs, the Association of Local Colleges and Universities Commission on Accreditation. Okay, so actually they are government-supported institutions. So combining all of these accrediting agencies, they form the national network of Quality Assurance Agencies, or the NNQAA, bestowed as the confirming agency for government-funded institutions. So once the SOOCs or the LCUs are able to pass the accreditation, they will be confirmed. They'll be given a certificate of compliance by the NNQAA. Together also with the SEC, or the Securities and Exchange Commission, the Technical Vocational Education Accrediting Agency of the Philippines, okay, that was established also to cater to the needs also of the VOCTEC areas. That's under, as I mentioned a while ago, the TESDA, or the Technical Education and Skills Development Authority. So all those schools, LCUs, or maybe SOCs operating VOCTEC shall be undergoing voluntary accreditation also under the PVEAAP. So both the ACUP and PAASCU are involved members of the International Network of Quality Assurance Agencies for Higher Education and the Asia Pacific Quality Network. So private, tertiary, and public tertiary can go, or they can go beyond the accreditation process conducted in the Philippines. They can also go international by subjecting themselves voluntarily as well to these international accrediting teams. So for private tertiary education, it's a different thing or scenario. Why? Their characteristics may be either one of the following. It can be religion-based. So say for example, a school that would accept only Catholics or Christians or Muslims, or to what kind of religion, no? Maybe. It can be sectarian. They will have to set standards, no? Talking about what could be or what should be the students of this particular private college or university, or uh, uh, basic education institutions. Or it can be non-sectarian. Meaning to say non-sectarian is free-willing universities or colleges, talking about accepting different or all kinds of students. No rich, no poor. There's no such thing as standards that we need to follow, unless or as long as they are capable of paying for the tuition fees. So they can also be classified as profit or non-profit institutions. But majority of private schools are not for profit. Like for example, Catholic schools. So, to mention some: Adamson, Ateneo de Manila University, University of Santo Tomas, LaSalle, what else? Okay, Central Manila University, CMU, Central Manila University, or Manila Central University, MCU. They are actually, or Christian University, or the Holy Trinity of Asia in the Pacific. Those are some of the examples of Catholic private schools that, according to them, they are operating not to earn, okay, but to be of service. Talking about they are classifying themselves as foundation colleges or universities that offers only a very minimal tuition fee. I just don't know if that is true. So non-Catholic private higher educations or tertiary, they are also not-for-profit sectarian institutions. So example of this is the Adventist University of the Philippines. Okay, ito PCU, Philippine Christian University, and the Trinity University of Asia. So non-Catholic, non-profit sectarian institutions. So non-sectarian private schools, conversely, are firm. So they are registered under the Securities and Exchange Commission. So that if they are charging much, okay, or higher tuition fee, they can be summoned, or they can be monitored or regulated by the SEC, or the Securities and Exchange Commission. Likewise with the SOOCs and the LCUs, they also go into accreditation. For Catholic schools, we have the PAASCO, Philippine Accrediting Association of Schools, Colleges, and Universities. So that includes basic ed up to higher education. They also have the Association of Christian Schools, Colleges, and Universities for Non-Catholics, Accrediting Association, Incorporated, known also as the ASCUAAI, make up a few of the voluntary accrediting agencies in the private sector and all function under the umbrella of the Federation of Accrediting Agencies of the Philippines, or the FAAP. This is a certified authorizing agency by CHED. In the SOOCs, we mentioned a while ago about the NHAAAQ. No? If you can remember the acronym that I mentioned to you a while ago, that once they are subjected into accreditation and they're able to pass the requirements or the standards, so they are actually certified as an accredited school with a level status of 1, 2, 3, or 4, depending on their qualifications, okay, or depending on the level that they have applied for accreditation. So only private institutions can be accredited by these three agencies and then certified by PAAP. So mentioned talking about Catholic, non-Catholic, Christian, no, PAASCO, then the ACSUUAAI, as we mentioned a while ago. So the PAAP is the umbrella, okay, of these different accreditation teams in the private sector. So based on CHED's revised policies and guidelines on voluntary accreditation in aid of quality and excellence and higher education, 4 levels of program accreditation exist. This is what I mentioned a while ago. Level 4 being the at present, Ateneo de Manila and Silliman University are top university ladder on acquiring both level 4 status and institutional accreditation. Okay, talking about institution, what we try to mention about institutional accreditation, all the program offerings, lahat ng klase ng courses sila ay accredited with the level 4 status, Ateneo and Silliman University. Silliman University is in Dumaguete City, that is in Central Visayas. It is where I was born, in Dumaguete City. Silliman was one of the top universities in the Philippines. That is in the Central Visayas. So CHED also has recommended guidelines. Definitely, why go into voluntary accreditation? I tried to mention a while ago, that is to ensure quality assurance. So they have to commit to excellence, the long tradition of integrity and untarnished reputation, meaning to say, they were not engaged into, say for example, profiteering, or actually sanction for a poor performance in the licensure examination, or somehow they were involved in the so-called diploma mail. They allow students to enroll, then just pay the tuition fee without attending classes, then pay high tuition fees so that they will earn more. Then sustainability and viability of operations are the general criteria examined by CHED. Excellence, integrity and untarnished reputation, sustainability and viability of operations. That's why if you've noticed, no, parents with a lot of money send their children, sons or daughter actually to this universities that have this level 4 accreditation. So what will be the benefits of a tertiary education, private or public, with the highest quality or the level 4 accreditation status? They can design their own curricula. They can offer new programs, set up branches or satellite campuses. NUST have different satellite campuses or branches. We have in Talavera, Peñaranda, San Leonardo. We have also in Palayan. We also have in Santo Domingo, just recently opened. Then Caranglan, as I mentioned a while ago. Okay, without having to secure permits and carry out operations without mass interference from shed. So those are some of the privileges of an autonomous status university. So they will not go into strict compliance of the policies that are being ordered by SHED. Then SHED regularly updates its list and is very keen on autonomous institutions. So the main indicator of these universities to ensure that we have offered quality education is the performance in the licensure examination. Higher education institutions, on the other hand, with the regulated status. So these are two things, no? Talking about autonomous, being an autonomous university, and just a deregulated status are two different things. So being an autonomous university is highest level. If a university or college is just under a deregulated status, they enjoy the same benefit. The only difference is they need to secure permits from that shed. Especially so, no? If you want to offer new programs and okay, set up branches or satellite campuses. So we'll now move on to the foundations of the curriculum in the Philippines. So by the way, we'll end up to this. So listen.